Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm just going to show you guys part of my workout. I'm having a fairly short session today because yesterday was a really brutal session. And today I'm going to be using low reps for high sets with short breaks to induce hypertrophy. And I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about how to do this, but let me go ahead and get started. As you can see, at first I've selected the pin lay row. I'm going to take up to 30 seconds between sets. I'm only working with 100 kilos on these, and the whole idea here is that you want to do very explosive reps. The body can only produce about 3 reps explosively before it will no longer fire enough motor units to continue to do them explosively, but it needs very short breaks to reset that if you're using a light enough weight. And again, the idea is maximum muscle fiber and motor unit recruitment, because explosive fast reps with a moderately heavy weight actually recruit all available motor units, just like taking a higher rep set to failure does. But if you don't get explosive bar speed, that doesn't happen. And the whole idea here between doing something like 10 sets of 3 with short breaks is that it gives the nervous system enough time to reset so that you get 10 sets that hit maximum motor unit recruitment and maximum muscle fibers, but the shorter breaks induce the same amount of metabolic fatigue you would have gotten if you had done a couple of very high rep sets, because the breaks are so short. So this is a good way for strength athletes to do hypertrophy training while still training for explosiveness at the exact same time. And it's a very efficient way to combine the two into one workout. Some of you won't like my form on the pin lay rows, but I really don't give a fuck. And as you'll notice, you'll get out of breath very quickly doing this because you're using a relatively heavy weight with short breaks. And for me, this is around 75% of what I can pin lay row for a single rep. Over halfway done, 4 more sets, and it's starting to fatigue now. I'm starting to feel the metabolic effects kick in, that bit of a burn, which is generally what all hypertrophy work is based around. And some people are going to note I do very, very fast eccentrics on those. And the reason for that is there is no evidence whatsoever, at least according to meta-analysis, that slow eccentric reps produce any more hypertrophy than fast ones. But there is new evidence emerging that fast ones may induce more hypertrophy than slow ones. All right, 2 sets left to go. And if you pick the weights correctly, your 10th set on something like this will be brutal. It will feel insanely heavy and you'll struggle to get the speed on it, which means it's purely metabolic workload at that point. All right, so here we go. Oh, that was tough. All right, guys, I'm gonna repeat the exact same thing with behind the neck push press. You guys will see my back when I walk away. It's got a good pump from the Pendlay rows. And it's also important when you do a style of training like this that you select lifts that you can do very explosively, because this is about explosive training. And it's also important that you pick lifts that are going to hit a large number of muscle groups, like a Pendlay row or behind the neck push press like this meets both criteria very, very well. Between these two lifts, I've effectively trained every muscle in my upper body. And again, we're keeping breaks very, very short. We want to make sure that we induce metabolic fatigue as we go. So you want to keep these breaks to 30 seconds or less if possible. And you can take a little longer if you have to on the later sets. Also, some of you are going to ask, hey, how do I incorporate this into your novice routine? You don't. Run my novice routine the way I wrote it. There's no 10x3s, there's no Pendlay rows, and there's no push presses. Do the program as it's written. You guys do not need advanced techniques. Save methods like this for advanced drug-free lifters and for guys who are on gear. This is not a protocol that you need as a novice lifter. It's not going to help you gain any faster than just doing regular training with linear progression. Well, we're past the halfway mark now. Of course, I lost count of my sets because of the talking. Same thing again, around set 6 or 7, you'll start to feel that burn kick in if you pick your weights appropriately. You'll get that same type of pump and burn that you get from higher rep work, but you'll be recruiting more total muscle fibers while doing it. Or I should say recruiting the same fibers more often, so that you're getting more fatigue in those upper threshold fibers. For me, my delts and triceps are definitely burning at this point. But the end is in sight. And it's very important that you try to maintain form on these last few sets. Because you run into the same problem that you do with rep work, in that once you get fatigued, form tends to degrade. But fortunately, it tends to degrade on later reps. So you'll get more perfect reps in while doing more sets this way. All right, final set. All right, and that's gonna be pretty much the end of my workout for me. I'm gonna do a little bit of core work after. I did some light squats right before this. So just these 3 lifts for me today. And this is just a 30-minute quick session. But you can induce a very large amount of hypertrophy doing a style of training like this in 30 minutes. So it's also very good for people who don't have a lot of time. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time. But let me give you guys a bicep shot first.